Hello, my name's Simon Jacobs, and you have joined me for another Adventures in Pop. I'm a little bit throaty today, but bear with the slightly raspy voice if you don't mind, because we've got a very special subject to cover today. We're going to talk Abba. We're going to do this in a very unusual way because for the very first time, I am going to speak to a special guest. Basically, when Abba released their new material on Thursday of the week just gone, so just a couple of days back, I thought, well, there's plenty to say about Abba. We have to mark the moment. You know, if you think about pop music in general, the last 50, 60 years, the contribution that Abba have made to the pantheon of pop music is something pretty extraordinary. But where, obviously I was quite happy to just, witter on my own, as I often do. But I thought, well, actually, I've got a friend who is pretty much a super fan of Abba, kind of was with them from the very beginning, knows everything about them, has loved them forever. He's much, much better placed to give you a view about, Abba and where the new material sits within the body of work, etc., than I am. So it's actually with great pleasure that I'm going to hand over very shortly to a conversation we had just a little bit earlier on today. Just a phone conversation, but I think you will agree that it's really, it's fun and informative, and just brings you up to date with all things Abba. And it's been pretty much an Abba event over the last few days. And by that I mean the release of 2 new tracks, the announcement that there's going to be an album in November, and then the ongoing excitement that is the huge number of concerts that they're going to be holding in some kind of very advanced technological kind of digital form, so that they don't actually have to be there. So all of that excitement, and actually my very good friend Ian, he does have a name, he's called Ian, he's actually just been on the phone this morning getting tickets for himself and friends to be able to go along and see the digital Abba at some stage next year. Very exciting. So when I spoke to him, he was actually just kind of calming down from the stress of trying to get through and get hold of tickets, which, as I'm sure you know, can be one of the most difficult kind of issues that we have to go through in our whole lives. So where to begin? Let's just put a little bit of context together, and then I'm going to hand over to our phone call. Abba had 9 number 1 hits in the UK in the 70s and very early 80s. They were so successful. I mean, there was obviously there was the Eurovision Song Contest. That was back in '74 when they won that. There was a bit of a gap then, and then the hits just started, to come and kept on going until they sort of fizzled out around 82, 83. Never really announcing an official breakup. Other projects came along. The years went by, and then obviously rumours started a little over a year ago that there was new material being made. And then the new material didn't come to light because actually they were working on more new material. So all of that is now clear. And we know that there is this album called Voyage coming out in November. So let's hold it there and reconvene after we've heard from my very good friend Ian, with thanks to him, who knows far more about Abba than I could ever dare to suggest that I do. All right, speak to you in a minute. Well, Ian, thank you very much for doing this. I should start with like basic questions and do a proper interview, but let's start with like, how long have you been an Abba fan, and what happened? What was the moment in the 1970s where you thought, they were something special in your life?
Well, I did watch the Eurovision Song Contest with my family in 1974, as everyone did at that stage,
absolutely.
all gathered around. And I remember my sister Pam saying she thought ABBA would win, but I didn't think they would win. And I can't remember now if it was my favourite song or whatever reason. So it wasn't right from that very first day. But I think from when SOS, which was the next single.
That's right, because there was a bit of a hiatus, wasn't there? And then SOS was about almost 2 years later. Yeah, a year later.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
it
right,
could have gone all wrong for them because they had a few, non-hits or very small hits.
Ring, ring.
So really, from then onwards, I don't know why suddenly they captured my imagination or adoration. I was really into Slade at the time, and it was a bit of a change for a more poppy sound.
So you went from, so as a whatever age old you were, teenaging person, you went from Slade to ABBA, but you 14. Went to ABBA full tilt, didn't you? I mean, we're talking, Super Love.
I did, and then I was just obsessed with them. Joined the fan club, had posters all over my bedroom. I don't know. At the time, there was a couple of other people at school that liked ABBA, and had bought a couple of albums, but mainly my friends were into Genesis and things like that. So it was quite a different thing.
Nightmare.
And it was. I don't think it was even cool. I mean, I can remember being ridiculed by my geography teacher for holding my pencil case up in front of the class because I'd put ABBA stickers on it and things like that. So,
see, now today you could get your geography teacher for that, couldn't you?
Yeah, you probably could. Definitely on something.
Yes.
So, I went to see ABBA in 1979. When I was just in the first year of uni, so I was 18 then.
Right. So this is really important. So where were they playing?
They played at this agricultural hall, I think it was, called Bingley Hall, Stafford. All I remember the seating was very rickety and felt like it could collapse at any time. It was all temporary seating. And, it was totally thrilling. And I still have all the things I bought, the programme, the mirror, the mug, the badge. But it was uncool, but all my musical tastes were uncool. I was really into disco by then, so at uni, and then got into more electronica things. But I've always liked them, and all the way through. Yes.
But you kind of carried on being a fan. So after they sort of quietly didn't really split up, but just sort of dissolved, you carried on following like the solo albums, didn't you?
Yeah.
And
the first CD I ever bought was the ABBA, the first 10 years, which came out at the end of ABBA, really,
Yes.
There was nothing after the first 10 years for a long time. But yeah, I've always loved Frida's. Frida's always been my favourite. I think Frida's got a great voice. I've got her Swedish language albums. And, I love Agnetta's voice, and the two of them together is obviously the magic that everyone talks about. But Frida's voice is for me, the best. And so amazing thing, Frida sings the lead on the last track on the last ABBA album, and now she seems to be singing the lead on the first track to be released. And, so I've always followed them and I've never been embarrassed about it. And I know there's this big resurgence of ABBA with Mamma Mia, Erasure, Muriel's Wedding, Priscilla. It was nice to see all that, but definitely. And in between, I did meet a few other fellow ABBA fans, which was good. And on the gay scene, ABBA was always around more anyway as well.
Yeah, no, that's certainly true. And so, yes, absolutely. I think ABBA have just slotted in there. I don't know if they realise how sort of I
think they do now.
They probably get it, don't they?
Been to the ABBA Museum, but the big exhibitions that they had here in Earl's Court and at the South Bank. So, and a few years ago, they had an ABBA 40 party, which was brilliant at the Tate Modern, which was super exciting because Bjorn and Frida came to that. And so that was great. And a choir. And that was like their 40 years in the business.
Ian, let me ask you, before I ask about the new material, what up until, Thursday have been your kind of top ABBA tracks?
Oh, wow. Well,
I know that would change every...
Me Knowing You is my favourite ABBA track.
Yeah, do you know what? I think mine too. I was going to mention Knowing Me, Knowing You and the name of the game as being peak ABBA.
I love Name of the Game because I think that's a really unusual track as well.
Yeah.
The whole... just the whole structure of it is really unusual. I really love If It Wasn't for the Nights, which was never a single in Britain, which is off Voulez-Vous. But I think it was in some other countries. And I think that's really, really one of their best tracks. Mm. I love the last track by Frida I mentioned, which is just her voice and a metronome, like an angel passing through my room. Mm. Mm. So... how many have I got up to?
Oh, you can have as many as you like.
Yeah, I think.
No, that's good.
What next? That's enough for now.
No, that's fantastic. And on Thursday, did you know that there was going to be this event on Thursday evening?
I did because I do follow Abba on social media and whatever. So things have been popping up, and other friends who are interested were mentioning it as well. So I did know. I didn't expect it to be. It was like an hour's event. I thought it was going to be 15 minutes or something, and like it was a big worldwide event. And I knew, obviously, a few years ago they announced that they're making. They made a couple of singles, and I think it was known that that developed into more than that. And they've been thinking about doing this sort of avatar tour.
Yes. So you were kind of set for it. So, but
dance along to
what you didn't, but what you didn't know was that they were absolutely going to say, we've got a whole album getting released in a couple of months' time. Was that all new?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Now, did I know there was an album coming out? I think I knew there was an album by then, but we just didn't know the whole details of everything, really.
So what do you make of, having listened, I'm sure, a few times to both those new tracks? What do you think of them?
Yeah, so I really like the new tracks. I think it's still them, but it's the more mature them. Like Frida's voice is still lovely, but a more mature version.
It's a bit. It's quite rich and a little bit deeper as well, isn't it?
They're both deeper.
Yeah,
People's voices do get deeper.
Oh, yeah, I like it. And
the music is the same, but it's not like a pastiche of themselves. It's just how it should be, I think. I think it's subtle. I have to listen to it even a few more times, I think. And the lyrics are good. I know Bjorn gets criticised for...
Right, I really like the lyrics. I really noticed the lyrics on the second track. What's the faster track called? What's the title?
Don't Shut Me Down.
Don't Shut Me Down. Yes, I really like the use of the word bewildered.
Well, they're sort of everyday, mundane lyrics, a bit like The Day Before You Came and things. That's one of the things they used to mix the everyday and the sad, the melancholy with the upbeat, which that track is a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a sort of... It's in a way, it's a bit like The Winner Takes It All, although it's more positive because there's someone who's hoping to have a reunion with someone. So in that way, it's a bit... It's downbeat, but it's a bit like The Day Before You Came as well. So... Yeah, and the other song, a Faith song, is about being together still. And
it's completely the right words in the right moment, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think it's funny. The album, the titles are released. You can see them on Apple Music or whatever. One of them's got, I can't remember what it's called now, something about Dan, and I thought, that sounds a bit like one of Bjorn's novelty lyrics. Mm-hmm. So even on the last album, they had Two for the Price of One, which is like a novelty lyric. So, but I mean, lots of the lyrics are brilliant as well, really. So and go so well with the music.
Yes. So the Guardian gave I Will Still Have Faith in You 4 stars, and the other track 5 stars.
Yeah, I'd put it the other way around.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And okay, no, that's all good. And you've been on the phone this very morning getting yourself tickets for the digital Abba,
Yes.
jamboree.
I mean, it's been a very stressful morning.
So look, parking the stress for just one moment. Yeah, parking the stress. It's quite exciting that they're doing this really cutting edge technological solution. Because otherwise we basically wouldn't see them. They're never going to go around the world and do a world tour. So this is a good way of doing it, presumably. Have you come up against sort of criticism of people thinking, what's the point of that?
Not criticism such. I suppose people were I'm a bit apprehensive about what it's going to be like because, I don't, some people see them more of as, although they get a lot of serious comments from critics and other musicians and things about their songwriting, the singing and production and everything. There's also, jokiness and Mamma Mia adds to that in a way. So I don't want their legacy ruined by something, but I just think they'll only do something
if it's classy,
good. If it's good, because my reservation to hear that older voices coming out of a younger avatar is a little bit weird, I think. But maybe it just takes some getting used to it, and maybe it's the future for lots of music as a way of doing things.
I think
everything's
it will be.
You've got to stay open to new ideas.
Yeah, and I'm quite pleased that they've been stressing that this is not about holograms. They're talking about something that is moving forward from the hologram sort of concept, and to me, so that's pretty good.
Like I said, there was holograms at the first Abba World exhibition in Earls Court, which was fun but not great. So this is like a lot more steps forward than from that, I think. Because we're saying it's like just trying to get your head around it. Obviously, it's a film. They could show it on an IMAX cinema, but they must be the size of their true size on the stage, I'd imagine, to make it like a concert. So obviously, like being at a gig, the nearer you are, the more you see. And then presumably, like at a normal gig, they have big screens by the side where the camera zooms in on people.
Yes.
So it is trying to be like a gig. And also, looking at the venue, lots of the seats are angled, so it must be a 3D image you're looking at somehow. You don't want to see the flat-sided side of a flat-sided image, do you?
That's right. You don't want to see Benny and Bjorn in 2D. No.
It's not in 2D, yeah. So there's a lot of,
I think it's very exciting. I totally,
excitement about
exactly.
it.
I think the thing is, I guess, if I was a big ABBA fan and going to those concerts or one of those, I would try to say to myself, it's not a concert. It's an event.
Yeah. I think, you've just got to go in open-minded, thinking like that. Yeah. It's in the form of a concert,
yes,
but obviously they're not there. So,
although
they'll probably be there on the first night.
Which I was thinking about this. The good thing is, you see, they could sneak in at the back, couldn't they? Or watch themselves every night. Who are those people at the back? Well, I mean, obviously they wouldn't, not every night, because that's like the whole of the rest of their lives.
It's the same every night. I mean, there's matinees, the first batch of tickets is for like about 3 months, I think. Bits of May, June, or bits of May to September, I think.
Yeah.
And but obviously it's going to run and run, no doubt. But they don't build a whole arena just for a few months.
But they could sneak at the back and just see what the audience reaction is today. There they are, like 4 disguised figures at the back of the room that nobody spots. That's my fantasy, that ABBA pop in every now and again.
I think possibly for Benny and Bjorn, not for Frida and Anya. So they won't be doing that.
No.
The only disappointment about the broadcast, the other YouTube thing, was that they didn't make an appearance even from their own living rooms. But, you did see them in the studios, which was great.
Yes. Ian, thank you. I'm going to let you get back to your normal day. And thanks very much indeed for being my first ever Adventures in Pop guest. But I couldn't let ABBA... I just thought, I can't let ABBA just go like that because, talk about contribution to pop music. It's enormous.
Yes, and maybe they'll have a 2022 ABBA soap on sale to go with my original ABBA soap.
And have you still got it?
I still got it framed. I made a little frame for it
Oh, yeah,
in
good.
the bathroom.
That's
where
why.
else?
That's why I know about it. I'm sure I'd logged somewhere in my head that you had Abba.
It's in the shape of a cassette, so that shows.
It just gets more strange as the more you explain it. Good. Ian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
All right then.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye. Bye. Thank you, Ian. Thank you for sharing our Abba-tastic last few minutes. And I hope you found that useful and enjoyable. And obviously, whatever age you are, I think, Abba is one of those groups you can take into your heart and love forever. Do join me for my next Adventures in Pop. It'll be only in a few days' time, and I will be introducing another, I think, singing from home song at my piano in the next few days. I know the anticipation is mounting already. Have a lovely few days. Take it easy. Be good. Bye-bye.